Greetings and welcome to SmartWatchTix.com. Z-Blaze is rounding out their 3 series in the Beyond line with the Beyond 3 Pro. Inside this box, where you elevate your game, you'll find first the little Z-Blaze module sitting all by itself in a nice box with goodies underneath. Where can you get this one? Directly from Banggood. It's a featured watch with ultra-large built-in GPS, and no, the watch is ultra-large. The GPS is built in. A 2.15-inch AMOLED screen display on this one, and a decent price. It's in flash sale right now, but check the show notes for a discount. We also have it available for you directly from AliExpress. Got a link there also in the show notes. About $36 or so. Comes from their official store at AliExpress. In terms of what's in this one now, there's quite a bit. We were mentioning some of the headlines. It's got the integrated GPS with GLONASS and Galileo and BeiDou and assisted GPS for very fast fix times. Those of you who've used them before know sometimes you have to wait for it to acquire all the satellites. Bluetooth 5.3 for improved audio and full range capability of staying connected. The Z-Blaze Fit app, their own app, runs this one. You got these different languages in the user interface, in the app, and then push languages for your text messages. Information reminders are in this one. It is a Bluetooth calling watch, so you can do all of that stuff. The different health options are in here. You have activity record and step counting and so forth. You got 24-hour monitoring of your heart rate. You do have blood oxygen, stress level, female cycle tracking in this one. And in sports, 100+ different activities. These are some of them listed here. You have GPS, as I mentioned, and that will tie in with things like running and walking and cycling. Here's a few more. Each of these are in different categories. So you go into the category and then identify the sport and add it or take it away if you want to. Lifestyle features, basic stuff that's also in there, weather, stopwatches and things like that. It's IP67, but it says swimming and showering are not supported, which is kind of odd. It really looks well built like it should be, but use this one just in protected. Don't plan on swimming with it, I guess. GPS positioning, movement, gravity sensor, proximity, the typical things that are in these watches. Here we go. We've got a 330 pixel 415 by 505 AMOLED screen, 2.15 inches with super bright, over 1,000 nits in brightness. The always on display, you'll see that. Always 3 system default. You have up to 150 different faces you can download, one at a time. I'll remind you, there's 3 stock faces and a place for 1 additional face when you're out and about. You got standby up to 25 days, training time, power saving mode 14 days. Your typical running time with GPS and heart rate tracking is going to be 76 hours. That's still pretty darn good. Charge it every few days, and about an hour and a half to charge it. What it's made of, what its size is, and here we go. Beyond the module now, you have the little charging wire, which is a 2-pin magnetically coupled charger. Only goes one way. I should put the bands on for you, but it's nice and strong. It's going to hold it pretty darn good. You have, speaking of bands, quality bands inside of here. They are kind of a rubberized silicone with lots of holes in them. The actual connecting holes run the full length, and it's one of those that loops over when you connect it and slides through itself, so you don't have a clasp on it that could get sweaty or anything. And then finally, we come with a manual on this one. Colorful, or not colorful, but graphic. There's the Z-Blaze Fit a QR code, but we do have a link in the show notes. You can download it from there. You have information on how to swipe around, how to charge it, really basic stuff. So a good beginner's watch for those who need to know how to basically get it set up. And then we're off to a different language as well. Now with 3 buttons on the side here, we're going to just go with the central round knob, press and hold for a few seconds. You'll feel a little vibration, there it went, and the boot up logo following into a really nice watch face. This is one of the ones downloadable from the store that you can get into from the app. When you slide down, you get notifications sent from your phone. It's opposite of most watches. That happens when you slide up. But the Z-Blaze ones nowadays, that's what you get. When you come off to the right-hand side, you get into a whole panel that will cover at the very end, because this is a looping directory here. When you slide up, you have your do not disturb information. This allows you to activate your Bluetooth signal for connection to the phone, which is really cool for Bluetooth calling and everything. You've got brightness control. And you can go up really, really bright like this. Look at that. Super bright. It's definitely easy to see outside. The blacks are good, solid black. It's a true AMOLED screen on this one. And dimming at level 1 is about there. So I'm running at about 3 for the app. This is your do not disturb. You can turn that on and off if you want to. Power savings mode is in here. And then you've got your grand access to all of your settings, of which there's a lot. We'll cover them. You got your wrist. Twist your wrist to see the time. Activate, turn on and off here. Simple as either turning it on all day or on a time schedule or leaving it closed. Mine goes on 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You got tap to wake, which is also available timed or open all day. If the watch is off, you just tap it and it'll light it back up again. Brightness we covered. Bright screen time is how long it'll stay lit when you have it activated and you've touched it. You know, twist your wrist will be just a couple of seconds and then it's off. But you can set it even always on this watch. AMOLED screen, long battery life, so you can set whatever you'd like as your timeout time. Oh, I think I hit my 15 seconds. I can twist it, bring it back up again. Why not make it always on? Then we don't have to deal. Well, I know why I don't want to, because I also want to show you the always on display. And if this is always on with the screen, you won't see the AOD, the always on display mode. That happens when I set it up down here. So we've covered brightness, bright screen time, AOD. You can turn it on and off right here. When it's on, you can set your on-screen dials. You have a couple of different digital ones and analog. There's a nice little analog. There's a colorful digital. And the first one is a very fancy analog display. Since we got a digital display going, let's use the digital one here for the dial. And the activation time, again, you can set a time frame for that or set it up for all day. We'll show it to you in just a minute as we get out of the rest of this stuff. Do not disturb. Again, you have periods that you can set it for, or smart do not disturb, which will make sure that you don't get interrupted with messages and calls. So it actually really does not disturb you. And then beyond that, ring vibration, your overall menu views. We have a list or a grid view, and that's it, just those 2 options. Following that, wow, there's a lot in here, huh? Auto sport detection. It has that ability. So if you're walking or running or stuff, it'll determine that you're doing that and go into a tracking mode for you. Widget sorting. You can personalize, enable the frequently used functions on the dashboard page, and they'll be prioritized to display. So you turn it on, and as you use things more often, they will bump up toward the front. But I'm going to leave that off so we can show you all of the different widgets. Here's about calls. This is where you get into setting up your calls. Now, notice that the knob does not actively work with the screen. It's just the button. But you can squirrel, of course. Scroll. And you can connect Bluetooth to your watch and disconnect it from the phone's Bluetooth. Not as sophisticated as some of the watches that are coming out with that Bluetooth Connect integrated within the app to automatically go deep into your phone and connect Bluetooth. But here it at least gives you instructions about the phone if you're not being able to make calls. Your device information is it's the Beyond 3 Pro, and we've got a QR code for scanning, downloading the app. reboot, power off, and reset, all bundled into one. You see the little scroll ball shows you where you are here. And that was in the settings, and that came from sliding up, right? Now, we went this way, but we're going to go this way. So you get into your first screen. This is your heart rate, continuous 24-hour heart rate. It's making a measurement right now. If you have the diodes covered, it'll get you an accurate reading, as best as accuracy is on these watches, max, minimum, and so forth. The next screen shows you blood oxygen. It's using red and green diodes, and it'll give you a reading down here, shows you your minimum and maximum. It shows you the 24-hour chart, but it only puts a dot on when you take a reading. So it does not do continuous blood oxygen, but it does do continuous heart rate. When you come over to the next one, you get last night's sleep information broken down into the stages of awake and light sleep, deep sleep. Shows you those markings on here. And your REM sleep time is that kind of a turquoise. It's kind of flipped around from what I'm used to seeing, with deep on the bottom, light, then REM, then awake. But that's how they're portraying it. Then the new one now, you get this called stress, and it's working off of heart rate variability, and it's using green diodes. And again, it's a 24-hour chart, but it's instantaneous readings, so you'll get a dot for each time you actually go in here. You don't have to touch anything to start it. It starts automatically. If you get out of it, it doesn't record anything unless you wait long enough for it to vibrate and show you a reading. A maximum 63 stress, minimum right when I woke up at 32. Don't have a feel for that other than the gauge is 0 to 100. But that's a new thing that you've got. And now we're here to that screen that we saw when you go to the left. So these loop all the way around, and you can come over here and get everything. So you don't really even need to go over here, that direction. You get your activity, step count, calories burned, distance traveled, alarms if you have them set. Here's the heart rate, you can activate it. Blood oxygen, stress, all of them are right there. You just don't get the chart. Last night's sleep, hang on, come back here. Last night's sleep, when you tap that, gets you over to that sleep page if you want to look at it. And, beyond sleep, just a summary. You've got breathing exercises you can do, weather in your area, and there's a weather page. It's not one of the cards, and you can't add it, which is kind of crazy. But it is in the watch, and you can get to it through the apps or through that long scrolling list of things here. And I think that's the last one. So that's everything about moving around the watch. Now we have two different buttons on the side. The bottom one will put you in your activities. This does have GPS in it. So when you do a walking or running or cycling and turn that on, it'll track your actual movement in GPS space and record that for you without taking your phone along, which is pretty cool. And that just toggles, or actually just goes into it and then gets stuck. If you come out of here, this will toggle you on and off, and the top button will bring you into the watch face and then into all of your apps. Now your apps are tiered. You have health, and that's a whole category, which includes your daily activity, heart rate, blood oxygen, sleep, breathing, stress, and cycle tracker. Ladies, it'll show you where you are in your physical cycle if you've put that data into the app, and it shows you the data you need to enter. Actually, these are the things that it builds its chart out of. In the app, you actually have a calendar, so you can look at all of that stuff. And that's all in the health section, which is right here. Telephone then gets you into contacts, call history, and dial pad. Bluetooth calling, speakers over here, nice and loud, by the way. Microphone, I believe, is right there on it, and you just place or receive your calls from here. Clock gets you alarms, timers, and stopwatches. The stopwatch is nice and big on the screen, and it cannot run in the background, so yeah, you have to leave it in stopwatch mode if you're going to try to do something with the stopwatch. There's the workouts. We looked at those already. Another way to get to them. Here's your sport records. So if you've done any, and I did a little outdoor walk, and there's the chart that I got, my little GPS chart walking around the house for 278. I know, I'm sedentary. What can I tell you? But I got an average speed of 1.25 miles an hour. Isn't that pretty cool? And pacing, distance traveled, cadence, all that stuff. A lot of nice data is recorded in these, and the sessions, like I say, are recorded on the watch that you can get into in the sport record area. Reminders, if you've got any, are set up here. You've got the music player in here. This is an integrated music player that when you Bluetooth to your phone, you can set it up to play music. Oh, just to let you know, I checked it, and the watch does not play the music through the watch. It can control the music on the phone, but it can't play it through the watch. Then after the music player, where are we? We've got weather, and again, that's the detailed information that you can get to, but you got to get to it either here in the app or from scrolling up on the cards on the side. Here's watch faces. You can change them here, or you can press and hold. You have one custom face you can put in, and you have a couple of others. There's another nice digital one. Here's an analog, and then a really bright digital one. Let's put it on analog for a minute. You can see the information there. Now, where were we? We were in the settings all the way down to, whoops, come back here. The watch faces, then you've got the flashlight, turn on and off. I wish that were in the quick scroll thing. It is in the what you call the Beyond 2 watch. This is the Beyond 3, but they don't have the flashlight in there. So the only way to get to it, sadly, is all the way through these apps, scrolling down to here. You saw the sneak peek of the calculator. Pretty decent little calculator in here. Kind of small digits, but good black and white contrast, so it should be easy to see outdoors in the sun. After the calculator, we got settings again, and this is the same settings that we looked at earlier. And I think that's everything, right? Yep, settings is the last thing. So those are all of the apps. We've covered the buttons. The press and hold when your face is on will get you to the screen where you can reboot, power off, or completely reset the watch. And then there's the always-on display. So let's take a look at that. So here's the large digital one. This is the always-on screen. I can tap it to bring it back. Supposedly, there we go. And this is the stock digital face that's in here. Has about a 5-second timeout that I set it for, and it doesn't go directly into it. It goes black for a moment, and then it eventually comes back into the always-on screen. But it's showing you your step count and other information. I twisted it, that lit it back up again. If you have it a little off of straight up, either one way or the other, it'll go black on you, go into the always-on, twist it back up again, and you're back again. Now, the analog looks like this. There. Really nice. Date, time, thin hands, nice design. We only have one actual analog face in here. You can download another one, but have to replace the digital one because you can only have one custom face. But if you want analog with analog, this is what you'd get. That's the always-on screen, and there's your actual analog screen with the date, step count, time, information on it, and heart rate on there as well. I'm a little disappointed at the long time it takes to flip into the always-on screen, but that's the design. Okay, now it's time to switch over and take a look at the app. It's supposed to open up when I tap it, double tap, I guess. Ever since Z-Blaze has released their own app, all their watches now pair to it. It's the Z-Blaze Fit, looks like that in the Google Play Store. Got a link to it in the show notes if you want to click through that link and install it in your Android phone. You can also do iOS and Apple if you want to. Once you have it installed, then you can open the app. You need to go through and set it up. It's really easy to do to pair. It shows you the watches paired right here. Goes through connecting, which it's doing right now. Oh, there's the other always on screen for a second. And there's the current screen. I switched it back to that one. We are syncing, and it shows about 82% power still left in it, and so it's running in the background there. I've got overall step count information in this app. Shows you the time, the number of steps per hour, and yesterday compared with today. You've got distance traveled also shown on the chart. It doesn't scale automatically to kind of fill up half to 3/4 of it. It's really, really low, expecting 1.2 miles per hour or 1,200 steps. I don't know, probably in steps. But anyway, if you're doing that, that's great. You'll see a higher bars on there. And then calories burned, and I presume this is beyond your basal metabolism level. This is your actual earned calories for the day. Effective standing, it monitors to see that you've stood up at least once every hour, and that's good if you were at a computer all day, I guess. Now, the interesting biometrics, here's your heart rate. There's a little gap where I took it off when we were doing the review and such, but I wore it all last night and this morning. Shows you the heart rate information, and you can tap any particular point, and it'll show you the date, time, and value. And a little bit more about the heart rate and your max, minimum, and average. You can do it weekly and monthly as well. Blood oxygen now, again, it's instantaneous, not continuous. I hope they'll improve that and make it continuous in the future, or at least an option if you want to risk running your battery down. But for now, you just get instantaneous readings, and there they are. And I presume you can touch on them, and it'll tell you what that level is. And it's running from 70 to 100, so you want to be in that very upper part for a healthy blood oxygen level. No blood pressure, no other biometrics are in here, just these two for this particular watch. Kind of interesting coming off of the one that we did that does everything, blood lipids and EKG charts, and wow. But this is basically an AMOLED fitness watch. Last night's sleep time. Here's the chart on the app that you saw on the phone and the breakdown of information on there, which is pretty much the same. I don't see much difference in what you see here and what you see on the watch, but it does transfer it over. Then there's your workouts by day. I had no data today, but yesterday I did something. Come back here. Okay. The 11th. No, I guess not. Not an official workout through the phone, per se. Stress. Okay, that's the other thing that's shown. You have heart rate, blood oxygen, and stress. And again, you get little dots when you take the reading, and it explains how it's calculating stress for you. Ladies, your period cycle information is in here, where you are on the chart, where it is today. And again, you saw on the phone, once you set this up, you can get a quick update of where you are in terms of your overall monthly cycle. Then you got an exercise button, and that will bring up an immediate Google chart of you and your exact area, and you can actually activate workouts from the app if you want to, and take the phone along with you with the watch to calculate or accumulate all that data. Then there's device. Now the device shows you all the different ones you may have. You can add multiple devices and switch between them. So the one that's enabled, and you can only enable one at a time, is shown here. You tap into it, and then you can get into all of these different settings. You want to go into more settings and make sure you get your device language, your time settings, 12 or 24 hour, and check for firmware updates if needed. You have also the do not disturb settings, but you can do that on the watch if you want to. Set the times of day or the smart DNS if you want, DND. Find the device and your sports mode selection for the different things that you wanted to automatically detect if you're doing. And if you don't, take them off. That's the device. And then there's you, your account, the information on you, your personal information. Height, weight, gender, all of that stuff. I do set it up as female so that it will show you the period tracking. Some of these apps, when you go male, you don't even see that option. And we want to cover everything for everybody. Your target settings, what you'd like to reach in terms of targets, feedback, account and security, data authorization. This can pair with Strava. A lot of you guys shop for watches based on apps being able to transfer the data to Strava because there's heavy Strava use out there. That's pretty cool. You don't see that very often. It's usually Google Fit and stuff like that. And then about the app, and that's about it. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty good watch, the Beyond 3 Pro. Lots of stuff built into it. There are some limitations. You don't have too many biometrics on here. You do have 24-hour heart rate, but you don't have 24-hour blood oxygen or stress. Those could be enhanced. It's a really nice AMOLED screen on this one. A definite upgrade from the Beyond 2. In terms of quality, it's top notch. It's definitely waterproof, good loudspeaker for phone calls, but doesn't play music through the watch. Nice band on it. It's very sturdy, rubberized, lightweight, and cool for sweating. So I think you'd be doing good for this one. It's a relatively inexpensive one to get into, under $40. You can pick it up from Banggood. They've got a flash deal going on right now, but double check the show notes for a coupon. We might get you a good discount on top of that. And if you'd like, you can pick it up directly from the Z-Blaze official store on AliExpress. They have them in a couple of different colors. You saw the black one here, but they have it in white and silver, and they're running about $36 or so. So it's a good watch. Another enhancement on the Z-Blaze 3 line. I think this is the last one, and next year we'll be looking at their 4s. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again soon.